Anyway, how you doing, Freddy? I watch your show. I think it's very interesting. My brother and he lives in Yonkers. I live up in the Greenberg area, and he got me hooked on watching your podcast, man. Doing a good job.
Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered, the show that has people hooked because we speak the truth. Basement Politics is where truth lives and corruption dies. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics, folks. Let's discuss the Teutonia AMS and their 900-unit building. It's going to be on Buena Vista, but it's going to provide no Buena Vista for some residents. And that's making them mad. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. How you doing tonight? Did you guys get to watch the meeting? If you didn't, watch it with me. I want to go over the meeting that was chaired by the majority leader, Tasha Diaz. And she spoke on the Teutonia AMS project. But, you know, I was very surprised. A lot of people came out and spoke out against this. Specifically, people who live over on Water Street, Grant Street, something like that. It's it's one of the only buildings there, maybe the only one that is actually, it's a co-op, I think, or condo. So they own, the apartments are owned, and so one of the things that they're a bit frustrated about is the fact that there's so many rentals being built up around them. And so they feel that, or they say that it is going to lower their property value. And also their views are going to be blocked. One gentleman spoke about the sunset that or actually the sunrise that he enjoys in the morning when he gets up early, that he will no longer get to enjoy once the Teutonia is built. The Teutonia is the AMS project that is going up on Buena Vista, 906 units. I spoke about this before. I mentioned the fact that it's only going to have 45 affordable units. 45 units will be set aside for those who qualify for affordable housing, right? And although John Rubel likes to make it seem like anyone can just go and live on the waterfront, even the single mom who makes $40,000 a year as a social worker, she too can enjoy the view on the Hudson River, right? But many folks were mad. They came out and spoke today and or this evening. And I really am happy to see that. And I hope that this really snowballs, and it has been, into something really, much bigger, much more powerful, as people start to come out and really show opposition to a lot of what's happening. And I think that it's really like starting to hit people, right? It's like smacking people dead in the face now as they are starting to see the buildings go up. And it's real now, right? It's no longer talk. It's no longer just some renderings that they're putting up. And many times we've seen renderings only for nothing to happen. So now it's happening. Now people are like, wait a minute, right? And so there's a lot of concerns. I mean, there are truly real, genuine concerns. This is not about just hate the developers, hate the developments. We don't want to change. That's what they want, to paint it as. But the reality is it's changing the city a lot, and not necessarily for the better. And I get the idea. I guess we want to, beautify, this city, make it nicer, have more to do, I guess. But at what cost, right? At what cost are we going to have? What are we going to be sacrificing for? And so I want to play some of the meeting, and I want to play some of the comments by the people who came out to talk. But really quick, they also mentioned, I don't know if you guys saw this, the first meeting was about a garage. Let's play that meeting real quick. Why do they want this garage? What is the point of this garage? You see this big garage. Now, it's going to be located next to where the Case Justice Center is, that courthouse there. They have a little small lot there if you're going to the courthouse for whatever reason. And now they're wanting to put this huge, huge parking garage there. Huge. Why? And they really try to sell it to us like, the great thing is that the city doesn't have to pay for it. Normally, the city would have to issue general obligation bonds or issue debt, basically, right? Take out a loan, in a sense, in order to do this. But no, they wouldn't, because they had no intentions of doing it. This is being done because they want to do it. The Yonkers Economic Corporation, is that what it's called? And the YIDA, along with another community borders benefit or something like that, CBA. And they're saying, well, we're going to take on the cost of it. So it's going to save the city money. But did the city and the people really want this big garage that's going to be put there? And why is it going to go there in the first place? And if you ask me, it's going there because they are going to prepare for this master plan that AMS is building. All the traffic that they foresee, all the people that they foresee that are going to be in the downtown area now living there. Again, Chicken Island is going to be a residential area / commercial mixed use, right? So you're going to see a lot of businesses as well as luxury developments or luxury apartments right there in Chicken Island. You know, we used to have the Puerto Rican Day festivals, man. No more. It's gone. That's it. So that's what they're anticipating. So they want to build this thing and prepare for that. But it's just massive, and it's just going to, you know, bring more traffic. It's just really, it's just a, you know, an indication of what's to come, right? And so I want to just show that really quick, this massive thing here.
Today is to talk about the lease of the property that is across the street, known as the Case Surface Parking, to the Yonkers Economic Development Corporation so that they can construct a garage. The easiest way to describe this project is the way that it has been structured will save the city between $8 and $10 million prospectively. As you all know, when you normally construct a city building or a city garage, you would normally issue general obligation.
So this, I guess, you know, the bridge that goes over Nepperhan, if this over here would be City Hall, and then you're walking across, and then, you know, the courthouse is over here. So this is where they want to put this thing. I don't even see the space for it there, but maybe, I don't know. And so he's saying that it's going to save the city money, but the city had no intention of building it. And so the IDA and the Yonkers Economic Corporation and another agency want to lease the space. So how much is the city going to be making if they're leasing this?
Bonds, there would have to be an appropriation made to pay the debt service over the life of the garage, and that would be solely a city obligation going forward. What we've proposed here is to enter into a series of transactions where funding from the City of Yonkers Industrial Development Agency, the Yonkers Economic Development Corporation, the Community Development Agency, are all putting their funds towards the construction of the project going forward. The advantage to this is that there's no third party involved here, like a bank, like a developer. It's all city-related entities, and that gives the council the freedom to take that $8 to $10 million and apply it to somewhere else, whether it's saving the debt service or making a contribution towards school needs or general city needs or what have you. So I'm going to turn it over.
Thank you for letting me be here. My name is
That's
Jim
the
Zullo,
architect here, and I just want to show you
for the garage facility.
So this is an aerial view of the air, obviously, of it. This is the courthouse here. This is South Broadway here. You have St. Joseph's over here, and that little senior building, I think, or what it is, the church. And so this is going to be massive here, and you're going to have cars coming in and out of, I don't know, where exactly.
So this is a picture of the Case site. And one of the things I just want to point out, we part of the RFP contemplated maybe future development on the site. So our first charge was to look at the overall site and look where we could best position the garage so that it would provide two things. One, potential opportunity for future uses of the land, and then we also wanted to retain as much surface parking as possible as well, so that, you know, that's
So they want to plan for future use of the lot, because again, they anticipate that right over here, if you see my cursor, you're going to have the Chicken Island master plan by AMS developed there. And so that's what they're anticipating.
This is a quick site plan of the.
I'm just going to show a little bit more of this, and I'm going to get on to the meeting. I wanted to show you how it's going to look overall.
An elevator area is to have a lot of glass for security.
Look at this. So it's going to be having this glass. He's saying this for security reasons, so people can see who's in the elevator. It's going to be multi-level here. These are cars, I don't know, city cars they're trying to show there. I don't know. My question is, why do they have it? Do we need it? I mean, what's the purpose? they're leasing the space from the city. How much is the city going to make off this lease? Right? And is it going to give problems to people who are going there for court? What about the police officers and the people that work in the courthouse? Right? And how much traffic is it going to generate on South Broadway? That's already, getting more ridiculous. And the intersection there, South Broadway and Prospect or Nepperhan, is horrible. It's all bumpy. And then you're gonna have Main Street behind it. I don't know. That's crazy, folks. I don't know. Let's get to the next meeting. But I just wanted to talk about that. And that's really, again, it's all for what AMS, who I'm about to show here, is doing. It's the Getty Square master plan, the downtown master plan, where they're gonna be doing Chicken Island, North Broadway, and Locust Hill development, the Teutonia. This garage is there. Part of their stuff too, but they're not gonna tell you that, right?
Leader Tasha Diaz.
Present.
By the way,
Majority Whip John Google.
I mentioned that Vinny Spano was absent from so many meetings, and the next meeting he was there. And I also mentioned the fact that there's three, if you don't know, there's three city clerks. There's Vinny Spano, who makes $183,000 a year. $183,000 a year. There's Mike Ramadelli, who pretty much does most of the work. And then there's this person here that just showed up. And I said, the third person, I don't know who that is. She never, and here she is, right? So they watch the show and they listen. That's so fast.
Here.
Minority Leader Michael Green, absent. Councilwoman Shanae Williams. Here.
So Mike Breen and Lakeisha
Agenda.
are absent.
If it relates to AMS, can we please hold that off until we open up the city council meeting?
Is the gentleman for Getty Square?
Is she on the phone?
So is there anyone else here to speak on any other agenda items we have on tonight? I'd like to speak today
Minority Leader Michael Green.
until we open the council. I ask that everyone please stand as we standing for a moment of silence in memory of
Michael Sabatino,
Barbara P. Smith,
$120,000.
which was the president of the. Who's gonna take them?
This public hearing is hereby noted and modifications to the City of Yonkers Getty Square Urban Renewal Plan. We review Urban Renewal Plan, Downtown Master Plan, and General Ordinance, amending General Ordinance number 4-2000 and the accompanying map,
what?
also known.
I'm sorry, not to pause it. Tasha high as a kite. Look at how she is talking. Look at her face. I thought the same exact thing when I first watched this. And I heard some sniffing. And folks, I promise you, I know it. I can tell you from what I've witnessed, my own eyes.
As Chapter 43 of the Code of the City of Yonkers, and more commonly known as the Zoning Code of the City of Yonkers, to facilitate the development by AMS Acquisitions LLC of projects on property commonly known and described as Teutonia Hall site located at 41 Buena Vista Avenue, Section 1, Block 512, Lot 11, the Chicken Island site located at 20 Palisade Avenue and 32 John Street, Section 1, Block 485, Lot 1, and Section 1, Block 475, Lot 51. And the North Broadway site located at 7 Overlook Terrace, 15 Overlook Terrace, 23 Overlook Terrace, 14 Overlook Terrace, 12 Overlook Terrace, 14 North Broadway, 16 North Broadway, 18 North Broadway, 28 North Broadway,
Wow.
30-32 North Broadway, 50 North Broadway, 2 Baldwin Place, 10 Baldwin Place, and 18 Baldwin Place. Section 2, Block 2018, Lots 8, 12, 16, 18, 20, 25, 48.
Wow.
Part and 50, 51, 56, 57, 67, 71, 75, and 79. Majority Leader, this was published on both local newspapers, the Journal News and Yonkers Rising. I also have to say, to make a note that an email was sent to all council members with all oppositions and support received by the city clerk earlier today as an official.
Did you hear all those properties that are going to be eaten up by AMS for this Getty Square master plan? And notice she made a point to say that, we got all the opposition letters and we, gave them to all the council members and all that because they knew people were there waiting.
Good evening, distinguished council. Mayor Spano, Deputy Mayor Levy, Deputy Mayor Landy, the Cantors. I'm Robert Cantor. Hello, all.
Let me give you a background on Robert Cantor. Robert Cantor owns the building on Palisade that blew up the other day. Luckily, no one was killed. There's something fishy going on. It's being investigated by the Westchester County arson team. There's definitely some strange happening there. The fire investigation, done by the fire department and that of the police department are not matching up. There's conflicting stories. I've read the fire report. They said there was an explosion and they located a gas pipe that had ruptured. However, that's not what this owner and other people are trying to say. They're trying to pin it on the business owner, this guy right here, Mr. Cantor. They have a lot of moolah, okay? Don't feel bad for this guy. Just saying. His building was in horrible condition.
Cantors go back, I think they hit Yonkers in the late 1860s. We had merchants, we had heads of downtown associations. My mom and my grandfather had Cantor shoes in 1915, and all in Getty Square, by the way. And I've seen and I bought real estate down here, a third of a block on Palisade, and right where my new neighbors hopefully are going to be very soon. And I'm very excited about AMS.
I bet you are.
And Michael Mitnick coming in, and I welcome them. And I'm hoping this project goes through. I mean, I lived through the Ragamuffin Parade. I saw the glory of this downtown. And I'd love to see it come back. And there have been so many plans. I mean, I remember seeing President Nixon come through, and I think it was 1972 or about then. He drove his motorcade down, and then that whole area where AMS is going to develop was just knocked down. A fence was put up, and nothing has been done really since. And this is so exciting. And I really hope all of you vote for this project because it just sounds incredible. And AMS, from the research I've done, they're stellar. And I'd just like to wish them my best. And thank you for hearing me.
Look at Tasha. Look at girl. Look at her smiling. She's so enamored by Mr. Robert Cantor. I know Mr. Robert Cantor. It's interesting how the world works and how God works. I'm telling you, God is definitely at play here. The fact that I have a connection to that guy just very recently, it's very new. And here he is. I do the wrong side. Here he is, right? Speaking at the city council meeting, excited. Why? Because his property that just blew up is literally across the street from Chicken Island on Palisade Avenue. He speaks of the drug dealers and all that in a bit. He'll come back on to talk about all the drug dealers that hang out there, and the crackheads and everything else. So he's excited because he's going to redo his entire building now that his building caught fire, and he's going to get a lot of insurance money. And he's trying to put a lot of it off onto the business owners, whatever, he doesn't want to cover, so he can minimize how much he's going to have to spend to restore the building. But the reality is the building was in horrible condition. And it's sad because he put a lot of the work on the owners. I mean, on the business owners who are just renters. They were actually, asked, and they did, to fix parts of the roof. And they spent a lot of money. One of the businesses hadn't even been there a year. And now everything that he put all his money into is gone. And this is going to be a while because of the investigation going on into that property and how it exploded. No one was going to get paid until that's determined. And so this individual Robert Cantor, whose family's been here since the 1800s, has plenty money, plenty property, but the two business owners who are now out of a business are going to be hurting. I mean, they're hurting bad. They don't know what to do. And I feel bad for them. I do. Hopefully, their insurance companies will, make them whole as much as possible. But when it comes to business insurance claims, it's hard to get made whole again. It really is. It's very complex, and it's, not likely that the owners are made whole, and they always lose out. They lose out. And so that's who that guy is. And so he's very happy. And I'm just wondering, how did your building catch on fire? Just wondering, how did it catch on fire? They don't just blow up. It's being investigated.
So good evening, council. But this meeting is a disgrace. I had signs for the meeting tonight on the 14th. I had it, the planning board. You call the planning board office, and it says nothing's happening. They don't know what's happening with the area. This meeting was not notified and was not publicized the right way. And this is not affordable housing. You look down at the waterfront, it's not affordable housing. The rents down there are $2,500, $3,000, and $3,500. This is not the solution. We need affordable housing, but we need jobs. We need BJ's. We need Walmarts. We need a sports center for the children. And on top of that, we're gonna build apartments for affordable housing for Yonkers people, not New York people. And not Spanos contractors who's getting, councilmen, getting 9,000 to 10,000 tax abatement for the properties and not giving it back to the renters with affordable housing. And this is a disgrace. We need something for the people in the city of Yonkers. Thank you very much.
And that, ladies and
The
gentlemen,
next
is Joey
speaker
Bear.
is Luis Maggiato.
And really quick, and he's right. John Rubo, arrogantly said that, he didn't know where, the apartments were. Someone said that the apartments were $2,000 or $3,000. He said, where? Like, he acted confused as to, really? No, that's not right. That's, but the reality is, go to the waterfront. Those one bedrooms are going for $3,000. And you're getting 550 to 750 square feet of living space, which is not much. It's not much at all. And most of the apartments going up, I'd say 95%, if not more, are luxury rentals at market rate. They're not obeying by the ordinance, the housing ordinance, where they're now required to do 10%. Teutonia, the 900 unit that this meeting is about, is only going to be doing 45 units set aside for affordable housing out of 906. That's nothing. And they don't care about the people who can't afford it. If you really listen to them, their attitude is like, you either sink or swim. That's basically what they're saying, sink or swim. And so, Joey Bear has a good point there. And they're not making a real effort to let people know about these meetings. And obviously we've spoken about that when we talked about the districting meeting and all the other meetings that are important. They don't really want people to know about it. They try to keep them, real hush hush. I'm going to skip this guy.
Majority Leader Diaz, Majority Whip Rubo.
That guy, he represents the sugar factory there, the Domino Sugar. He was upset in prior meetings. I guess they worked it out. The mayor talked to them, and now he's happy because he came and said a whole different, his whole tone is different. I'm going to skip him. I'm going to go to some of the residents. Folks, by the way, this is Christopher Hackett, family member of CJ Hackett. I believe he was commenting on the show the other night.
Good evening, Council. My name is Christopher Hackett. A part of High Caliber Construction, who's a subcontractor for Verizon. We're located at 46 John Street. that's directly across from 32 John Street where the site development and building will occur. I'm not in support or against building. I just have questions and concerns over our property and what will be going on in the neighboring site. I have site development concerns and want to know who can answer these questions. We haven't been reached out to directly about what will happen to the river and what will happen from vibrations from construction, and what could occur from our private property, which has a bridge that we built there. And with heavy vehicle traffic, what could be going on if they want to turn around on our property or parking over there. I know I'm in the construction industry, and I've seen what could occur from nearby building. I've seen buildings crack, and what could happen from constant hitting of the bedrock. And I just want to know who could reach out there, if anyone could help me out with that. But I'll be reaching out to, I guess, AMS with concerns over that. But thank you very much.
And those are good questions, right? I mean, there's a lot of development going up, and many people are not being made aware. One of the things that people had mentioned to me early on was the closing of roads. It had, presented a hassle and a problem to people who were going to work in the morning, as roads were now closed and they weren't notified the day before, so they can plan accordingly. There were no real signs showing, telling them of detours. And so they find this out on their way to work on their normal route, and boom, here you go. You have Con Edison construction crews closed off the road, and now you have to reroute somehow. And, many people were late, and many people are still getting to work late, or now having to wake up even earlier just to make it to work on time because of all the traffic and construction that is happening. And the noise. What about the noise pollution, right? What about the neighbors, people around these construction sites that have to hear the construction equipment and deal with the trucks and the debris? Earlier today, I posted pictures on the page showing cars on Hudson Street where they're doing the illegal, I call it the illegal development there on Hudson Street, because that was, approved by the zoning board in a way that was corrupt. They had to literally remove 3 guys, or at least 2 of them specifically had to be removed. They didn't even notify them. They just got them out the way. They didn't want to vote on this project, so get them out the way. That's what they did. And then they passed it. And so now they're building it. And this is what it did to cars today. Someone sent me pictures. You see these cars got debris, dust all on them from the construction across the street. So they don't care about the people's property. They don't care about residents' cars, the damage that it does, the potholes, the damage that the potholes are doing to our vehicles. They don't care about the people here. That is the most frustrating thing to me. It's just like, I don't care. We don't care. Right. And I'm going to show you that attitude as it's on display at this meeting, when one of the residents speaks and she felt like she was not even being listened to or even looked at or respected. And that's what they do all the time. They don't care. They know what they're going to do. They already have it planned. Right.
Majority Leader, that's all the speakers we have signed up.
Is there anyone else in the gallery that would like to speak on tonight's AMS public hearing?
I guess
Traffic
I will.
is horrible.
If that's
Takes
okay.
you 20 minutes from Sawmill exit to the downtown area with all the traffic.
Sorry, I'm just not really prepared to speak this evening, but. Sure. My name is Lisa Morales. I live at 23 Watergrant Street, and we're probably the only owner-occupied building down on the waterfront currently. It's all rentals down there, which is fine. We've kind of been trying to adapt to the overbuilding that's been going on down there. But this project, and we're not looking to stop progress. We want the city to grow and be better, but the Teutonia Hall project, which is going up right behind us, is going to be about 4 times the size of our building specifically, which is going to keep us in the shadow for most of the day, which is going to affect our property value, definitely. We have apartments with terraces on the back, and it's just going to be in the shadow. There's not going to get any sunlight there at all. I'm sure this is the least of the concerns. Our bigger concern is definitely the infrastructure, because there's already flooding down there that's going on that hasn't been addressed by the county. And I know that it's not Yonkers that is responsible for it because of the pump station, but all the new buildings are going to that one pump station that can't handle it, and our building is getting all the flooding. So all the flooding's going down. So all I'm saying is, I've seen the proposals that are online. I haven't seen what's been addressed as to how they're going to fix the concerns that have been raised, but I'm very concerned that they're not. So in the week's time that we received this protest, like the opportunity to protest, we've pulled together 90 protest letters that had to be notarized. So we had about 3 to 4 days to pull that together and get a dedicated notary to make sure it was taken care of. And that was submitted to the clerk's office. I think that Shanae is our council person, and I think that we put in a couple of calls to her, but I haven't heard anything back. But regardless, you know, we have 138 units plus. We're all registered voters, and I just want to make sure that something is addressed here. Did you receive the protest letters, by the way? So I'm not sure it was received by the county clerk's office, so how do I know that these were received? They were hand-delivered. City clerk. They were delivered.
There was an email sent this afternoon to all the council members with all the protests attached to it.
Okay. So what happens as a result of the protest? Is there a response that happens, or just we're protesting it and that's that? So City Council sent a registered letter to our residents asking if they wanted to protest or not protest or support it. So we submitted a protest, then what happens as a result of that is my question.
Yes, once you submit a protest, that is taken into perspective through each council person, and we try to accommodate you as we can. So like the deputy clerk just said, we did receive those via email. They have not been printed out, but we all have received those, and we will be taking those into consideration.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the action is that it's considered, yes? That's the
That's-
action item? Yeah.
Yes, because you submitted it now. I don't know if everyone was able to go over them. So I can't speak for the whole council, but I just want to let you know it will be taken into perspective.
Okay. So currently, it was my understanding that currently the height restriction is at 20 stories, approximately 20 to 25 stories. And this vote right now is for it to go to 40 stories. Is that correct? And that's going to happen tonight? It's going to be decided tonight? I just want to know so that I can go back and tell our registered voters if that's the case.
Questions at this meeting.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping at some point that you can, because we have left several messages at your office for it to be returned. So at some point, we would like to hear back. Great. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. I just want to assure you that this is not the final phase. There will be other phases after this, but yes, we will take everything into consideration.
Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
I hope I was able to answer your questions.
Wow, look how polite she was to that woman. Look how polite she was to that woman. And she should be. I'm not saying she shouldn't have been. Absolutely, she should have been. That woman deserved it. And shout out to you, to the lady that was speaking and demanded answers. But when certain other individuals, certain other groups had demanded or have demanded answers from our majority leader, Tasha Diaz, she has disrespected them, cursed at them, called the cops on them, threatened them, called them beggars. But not this woman. She knows better. Ain't that right, Tasha? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So the woman who went there lives at Water Grant Street. That's the building that's right on the waterfront there, owner occupied. The only building in that area there that's owner occupied, and they're concerned. The property value is going to go down now with the Teutonia located directly behind the building, blocking the sunlight. So they're going to be in the shadow for most of the day, as she says, which is something that I mentioned in a prior podcast when I've spoken about developments. The tall buildings are going to block the sun from a lot of areas on sidewalks, so people walking through Yonkers won't get as much sun. It's just a fact. It's going to create all these wind tunnels also in the wintertime. You're going to hate that, right? And so they also are concerned, which is a very valid concern, about the infrastructure. I mentioned this, all these buildings that are hooking up to the water lines, the sewage lines. What's going to happen? They're already strained, and they're going to be even more strained. The garbage collection, all the garbage now, more garbage routes, tons more garbage, tons more. Imagine a 900-unit building, the amount of garbage that one building is going to generate. And so now we're talking about hiring more sanitation guys. It's going to be needed. You need more police. You're going to need more firemen. You're going to have these bigger buildings, more people, and so you're going to need more firemen. So that's going to increase the expense to the city. And remember, these buildings, these developers are getting tax breaks, and they're bringing in renters, not property tax payers, and not saying anything other than just you're not getting that money from these individuals who will utilize all of these resources just the same. So we have to think about that. The sewage is going to be backing up. You're going to be getting a lot of flooding. It's already bad now. The sewage system, the pipes cannot handle it. They're very, very old, which is why fire hydrants have failed at fires, like on Mulberry Street, which actually happened inside Yonkers. Yes, they had to change the pipe around it. It busted, causing the pressure to be reduced greatly. And then they did it over on Riverdale and Prescott and on Palmer. So 2 other fire hydrants were fixed recently by DPW. Our sewage system, our pipes, water system is very, very old. And I don't know if it can truly handle the capacity that is now being, added, the amount of people, buildings that are coming here to the city of Yonkers. I mean, the Chicken Island, they're going to be putting up their 5 buildings alone just in that little Chicken Island area. And then you heard all those properties on North Broadway, Overlook Terrace, Locust Hill, that area. That's another huge development that AMS is going to be doing. The front of that development is going to be on North Broadway. The back of it will be on Overlook Terrace there and Locust Hill. So you're going to have a lot of people just in that small area. A lot of people. And one more thing, 2 more things, really. She said that the height restriction, this is something that I mentioned also. The height restriction currently now is 2025, but that's recently been changed. Years ago, they were promised that they wouldn't go higher than they, are now going, right? And that all started with the Hudson Street project I told you about, where they wanted to do initially 27 stories. So the 2 individuals that were removed would not go for it. They didn't want to vote yes, to approve the zoning changes. So they removed them. They changed the zoning anyway. And instead of going 27, they ended up going 25. But now they're going to change it again to go to 40 stories. And I said this on the podcast. I said, we're going to see a 40-story building coming here, folks. I said, wait on it. Here it goes. 40 stories. 40 stories. So you have the Hudson Terrace, whatever that's called, development going up there by ShopRite. You have the development going up on the corner of Prospect and Buena Vista, and then you have the Teutonia on Buena Vista. We're talking what? About 1,500 new apartments just between the 3 of those buildings. That's a lot of people, a lot of traffic, a lot of cars. Unbelievable. It will be taken into respective. Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, right? She kept saying, no, she said perspective. It will be taken into perspective. No, I think you meant consideration. It'll be taken into consideration. Okay? Perspective is that's not the word you meant to use there, Tasha. Miss Education Chair. Yeah, the chair of the Education Committee uses words in the wrong context. I mean, simple words. Simple sentences. I mean, you're not like trying to do the hezzy thing, are you? Unbelievable here. I wish I would have known it, because I would have shut that guy down from AMS and I would just ask, where do you live, sir? Yeah, they don't live here. They don't care. They're only coming here to make money. They don't care of the impact to the people of the city of Yonkers who live here. Absolutely, they don't care what inconveniences and changes that you have to go through. They don't care how your life will be impacted. Shanae Williams, nowhere to be found, right? She says, I think Shanae Williams is my representative. Yeah, I know. She's nowhere to be found. She doesn't care. She's just trying to move on up to county now. Can she beat Chris Johnson? Probably not. But they hope that she focuses on that. She loses. Oh, well, someone else gets into first district. Shanae's out of there. Shanae, they don't want you back. I don't think they want Tasha back either, if you ask me. They're trying to get rid of a lot of these people. All right, they've already done their bidding, and that's it. So, yeah, I mean, those are the changes. Zoning law changes all over the city of Yonkers and the FBI. Folks, believe it or not, I promise you this. The FBI is very interested in all these zoning changes. That's how they make their money. That's how they make their money. These developers know they want to build these big buildings. They can't. So what do? They hire Nick Spano, Empire Strategic Planning, the lobbying firm. He reaches out to little bro, Mike Spano, who reaches out to even little bro, Vinny Spano, who reaches out to the city council with Zahi Jarris. They make it happen. They get the zoning, stuff with Wilson Kimball over at the zoning board. Wilson Kimball signs off on all the properties being sold. She came from the Battery Park after being investigated there by the Inspector General, New York State Inspector General. She approves all the zoning changes, and they all make money that way. So the developers can make their money. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, making money. They don't care about the people of the city of Yonkers. So the FBI is definitely very interested in that because a lot of developers and politicians have gone.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
That's true.
Please come up and state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Frank Casanova. I also live at 23 Ward Grant with Lisa. And thank you for having us. Appreciate it. One thing I didn't like is that the meeting is such short notice for us, as Lisa stated. We were put it all together within 4 days. That's one thing I didn't like. The other thing I don't like is that the building that you're building there, with all the people in the back of not just our building, but the building next to us, our view of City Hall is going to be gone completely. I have some beautiful pictures here from our deck, my wife and I, from our deck, and that's going to be gone. Our sunrise will be gone. And we have some beautiful pictures in the whole building right in the back there. You can see them. And even in the morning, downstairs from the, when you look in between the two buildings and you're looking straight over, when you're standing at the waterfront itself, the river itself, you can actually see on how beautiful it is to be able to look at the sunrise coming up. And we're going to be losing that. And that's going to be a big value to us. Now, some feel, and I am not against progress in this city, because we've been here 33 years and we love this city. And we're not against it. We're just saying that this is too tall. It's going to take away too much beauty from the 3 particular buildings that are facing east, and we would be directly affected. And as Lisa said, it's going to take away a lot of our sunlight. Sure, we'll have beautiful sunsets, but how about our sunrise? I get up early. Maybe a few other people do too. And as you can see,
time's up.
We have a bunch of people from 23 Ward Grant that are here. They're all scattered around. They want to raise their hand to let them know that we're all here in protest. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Yes, I would, please. I want to put things into perspective for you, Tasha Diaz, and the people watching. He said, and I believe someone else mentioned that also, what about the people here? What about the people here? What about the people that have been living in Yonkers for 15, 20, 30 plus years? What about them? The people that have been asking for some of these changes for 10, 20 years, have been promised the changes, sold on these changes that they were going to be great for the people here, when in reality, they were just looking to change Yonkers completely, move the people up out of here that cannot afford to stay or that cannot find an affordable place to live out of the small amount that remain. Mike Spano did an interview, which I will be going over tomorrow with the Yonkers Voice, where he brags about building affordable housing and not losing one affordable housing unit when they renovated many of the affordable housing buildings. But that's not true. That's not true. Many of the affordable housing or low income housing units that were knocked down and rebuilt didn't come back with the same amount of units. There were less units. So little by little, they have been filtering people out. Where did those people go? Like Moffett Garden had 500 units before it got knocked down. When they returned, it only had 100 and something units. So where did the other people go? Right? And then when they knock them down to rebuild them, many people don't return. That's just a fact. So they little by little filtered people out. That's why they did the lottery at Macy. They scrambled it all up after people had been waiting already on the line. And now not only were they, having to wait, they weren't even on the line anymore once they did the lottery over. They weren't even chosen this time around. So, this has been planned for a while, which is why they're moving forward without making much noise, without really considering what people have to say. And even when people do speak their concern or voice their concerns, they may listen, but they don't care because they know ultimately that the plan is set. It's a done deal. The only way we can change it is if we vote these individuals out. And this goes to the top, folks. This isn't Tasha Diaz's plan. This isn't John Rubo's plan. This isn't Shanae or Corazon's plan. No, this is Mike Spano, specifically Nick Spano, and the developers that are here. It's their plan, their master plan for the city of Yonkers. And they don't care who is inconvenienced, who is impacted negatively, and who ultimately will have to leave the city of Yonkers. That's not their concern. And it never will be, which is why you must come out and vote. Democrats, the primaries in June are important. And that is why you must vote for a strong candidate who will go in there, clean house, understand what's been happening here, go in there with these developers and renegotiate what has been already negotiated so that the people of Yonkers benefit. That's what we need. And it's very important. Let's not forget, it comes from the top. Those people in the council don't care about Yonkers, any Yonkers residents, 1,000%. This fella is a new resident. Nobody told him that the sun set on Yonkers many moons ago. Actually, he's been there for a while. He's owned I don't know, how do I say? I think he's been there for a while. He owns one of the apartments there. But I understand it. I mean, that there's going to be a massive building behind it. And then, there's going to be a lot of young people there. So they're going to be partying. They're going to have to hear that noise. If we had short terms for the city official, then they wouldn't be able to do this stuff. Exactly. I'm glad you mentioned that. That is a great point. This is exactly why term limits are important. If you allow these individuals to be in office for too long, then they can devise this master plan and put all of their pieces in place, get all their ducks in a row, and ultimately put themselves in a position that will make it difficult for them to be removed. And then we, as the people, will have a tougher time creating any change, stopping anything that they're doing. And it's just what it is. Look with the term limit. They went right through with that. The redistricting, they went right through with that. You don't think they're going to go right through with this? 1,000% they will. When will the Cookfield project be finished? End of this decade? What about the new school that they're building on McLean? Do you see how quick the studios go up, however, over there in Warburton? Super fast. Lionsgate, super fast. But the school buildings forever. The park, Fayfield. What about Fayfield? Anything with that? Yonkers, get yourselves a real Democrat. That's right. A real Democrat. This Mike Spano's definitely not a real Democrat.
Relates to the AMS project.
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Linda Matthews, 23 Water Grant Street. I too am a resident there. I've been there for 30 years. Our area is starting to become very congested.
Michael Mitnick.
When they started the
This dude right here, this is Michael Mitnick. This is one of the principles of AMS, this young dude right here. They are spending billions of dollars. That's not his money. I mean, it's his money. It's investors' money, hedge funds, federal funding that they know how to get. These developers know how to get taxpayer money. Don't think it's coming out of their pocket. And it's a lot of overseas money from Israel. Just keeping it real, telling you what the deal is. The Chinese tried, right? They initially came here with Chinese developers. That didn't go anywhere. They sold whatever property they had, and now it's an Israeli thing. And this is happening all over the country, folks. You have foreign money, specifically from China, Russia, and Israel coming into America, and the properties are being gobbled up. That is causing problems for Americans who are looking to buy even just their own house. Oh, and I'm just telling you how the reality is. I digress.
Well, it was a Madera project and then went to Apex. We're kind of in an area where there's one way in and one way out. It's going to impact everything in this area. COVID did a lot of damage to our community. The public areas were closed during the summers and everyone came to the waterfront area. People come down there now with stadium chairs. They don't leave after the concerts. They're there 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. The police have been trying to be helpful, but it's almost too much for them to assist us. I'm not sure what's going to happen to the neighborhood, but it's just becoming a bit much. So we need some help. If they're looking to go to 40 stories, that's crazy. That I don't know how that area is going to accommodate all of these people.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've forgotten the people that are already there. You know, we're a big support to the city. We don't mind progress, but, you know, take care of the people who are there and who have been there for a while. Thank you.
That's right. What about the people that have been here forever? What about the schools? What about our children? Education system has been let down. It's failed. I don't care what the mayor says. I'm going to go over the mayor's interview, hear what the man says. He even goes into talking about smoking weed and he's looking to smoke weed when he retires. But that's not his vice currently. I mean, this guy, enough is enough. And to the people that live at Water Grant Street, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear more about it. I want to talk about what you guys have going on there. politicwithfred@gmail.com. I'll be in the area tomorrow.
Hello. I am also from 23 Water Grant Street. My name is Ida Fiella. I would like to point out that most of the people living at 23 Water Grant Street have been there for a long time, have been through ups and downs of that neighborhood, and have stuck it out. And now I have to tell you that most of us feel like we're being totally neglected in this project that's going on. And I even have to say, as I speak to you now, you're not even looking at me. It's like we don't count here, and yet we count a good deal, right? And the most important thing is that we have stuck it out in that building.
I see.
I've been here about 15 years, but many of my neighbors have been here for 33 years, through the good and bad, and stayed here. And I think we deserve some consideration for that. We are going to lose our sunlight. We are going to have an increase in population down there. And it will, I had a conference with an architect from Manhattan who said that our building will lose a good deal of its value. And many of us have invested in that building as owners, and now we're going to lose a good part of our investment. And we would just like to be taken into consideration when you have your meetings and make decisions. Thank you.
She told them, you're not even looking at us. That's right. You're not even looking at us. They're very rude and disrespectful. They don't make eye contact. They're on their phone a lot of the times. They don't care. They don't care. So if you want something to be done, you will have to come out and vote this year. You will have to come out for the strong, vote for the strongest candidate. Someone that's strong, that's going to go in there, kick some ass, take some names. clean house. Not to stop progress, because there is a lot of work that needs to be done in the downtown Getty Square area. Definitely. We have to do something about the people hanging out, smoking whatever, or using whatever drugs, selling drugs, because the small business owners there are being affected. We have to do something about the homelessness that has been increasing every single day. Yet no one, not one of our elected officials, has spoken about it unless asked by someone like me. But they don't mention much. They don't give any real details of what they're doing, what has been done, or what they look forward to do. Nothing. They just want you to vote for them. That's it. And what do? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. Enough of the lies from the Spano administration. They have not done anything in the past 12 years, and there's nothing that has started that he needs to finish. Nothing. This is not even his plan. He just took it over. He brought in his own developers, people that he had deals with, or Nick Spano had deals with, so they can make the money. They changed the plans up a bit. Remember, there was supposed to be a stadium. Now there's going to be luxury apartments. But a stadium would have brought jobs. It would have brought, growth and it would have stimulated the economy here in the city of Yonkers when you had games, ticket sales, and, the concession stands and the people that would have to work them. Parking, for people coming in for the games. That's how you, develop or that's how you bring economic progress to a city, prosperity to a city. You bring in jobs so the people can work, so they can afford to live there, so they can then buy and own, so they can take ownership and pride in where they live, so they're not destroying it. But when the city and our leaders don't care about the people, some people begin not to care back. And so it starts at the top. It starts at the top. And we have an opportunity here to change leaderships. This is a unique opportunity. The longer that this administration is in office, the stronger they become. In 4 years, will we have any opportunity to see a change in our elected officials, or will it just be a lost cause? Will they have just taken over the city completely? And the only option that most of us will have is to leave. I don't know about you, but that's not the option for me. And I've been blessed. I can leave. I can pack up and leave. But I don't want to leave. I love Yonkers. I love it here. We've considered leaving several times. I just can't, because I love this place and I feel like there's a calling for me here and God has a plan. This is the city I grew up in. It's a city many of you grew up in and have been here, as the woman said, 30 plus years. And now you have these individuals, strangers, just coming into the city and telling us what we need and what's good for us. And they're completely disregarding anything we have to say, considering how we feel, how we're being impacted, how our daily lives, our daily routines have had to, be changed and altered in order for Michael Mitnick and AMS and Ginsburg and the Spano family and Joe Cotters to make their money. Yonkers is not Manhattan, and it's not even White Plains. We cannot sustain the tall buildings and the amount of people and traffic that is going to be here once all of these developments are done. Folks, prepare for the next 10 years of nothing but construction and traffic as these developments go up, especially into Chicken Island area. That's a main thoroughfare. People coming into the downtown area for work and other business, or just who live here, are going to have to contend with all of that construction right there in Chicken Island. And what about the garage that they now want to build right across City Hall? Your lives will be impacted for the next 10, 15 years of this. Construction debris, construction trucks, construction noise, potholes. and 10 years of increasing costs of living until ultimately many of you get fed up, leave, and Yonkers becomes the new Brooklyn. That's what they want. It's only a matter of time before the homeless start pitching tents on Yonkers Avenue. They already have. Everyone just come out and vote in the primaries and the general election. That's what we need. Residents of 23 Water Grant at least have a pulse. Can't say the same for the majority of Yonkers residents. And I'm going to stop that right there. I agree with you. I agree with you 1,000%. And Mode 85 is correct. People like the folks who come out and talk, like the Water Grant people, they get something. Like the people in the, who spoke out of the districting meeting who were split up over there in Gramerton Hills or whatever, they got put back together, although it wasn't in the same district. But many times they will get what they are seeking because they speak out. Now, this is a bigger deal, and it's going to take more than just those few residents to come out to make a real change. But we should take, an example out of their pages, or take a page out of their book, I should say, and all come out to speak. The more, the better. And it's time. We must be vocal. We must be vocal. But if you don't want to be public, do your part by giving me the information at politicwithfred@gmail.com. You can do it that way as well. I take all info. Tasha wearing an ear pod probably listen to music while the meeting's going on, or she's being told what to say, right? How to answer the question. That's probably what it was when the woman was, that's why she took some time. The lady's like, hello? Oh, yeah, hold on. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. That was great. We will take that into perspective. That's what she said. Martin Ginsburg is actually naming the new park bordering Untermeyer after himself. Holy, really? Well, the park that's going to be the new waterfront park is going to be Leonard Spano Park, right across from his property, 123 or 132 Fernbrook. That's owned by Leonard Spano. So he's going to have a park named after him. Spano, the Ginsburg, they're just taking it all over, right? Because their family's been here for hundreds of years. Prepare to get out of Yonkers once they are done with all that craziness. Yes, unless we come out to vote. This is the year we must all come out. If you don't vote in any other election, vote in this one. Vote in this election. I wish I would have known, though. We had the waterfront. White Plains does not. Mount Vernon does not. We gave it away. XO with My City Pier and on and on. Yep. We actually had a lot of beautiful property along the water that we could have developed for the people here, giving the people here the jobs to build it up and build things that would have benefited the people here. But they gave it all away to developers. They sold it all off. The YIDA, the chairman is Mike Spano. His sister-in-law is the executive director. The lobbyist, James Kavanaugh, is the president. Together, they bought and sold property, city property. They dealt in city property, and they've made money off it. These people are basically making money off city property, taxpayer money, or using taxpayer money. They're basically playing Monopoly with real money. It's not their money. It came in the box. And they have all the houses and all the hotels. And if they lose, they don't lose, if you know what I mean. It's not their money. It's not their money. That's right. Folks, anyway, I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Listen, I need you guys to come out and vote this year. And I need you to, folks, please, it's very important that you vet the candidates. Think about who is it that you want to lead. It's not about disliking or liking the person. It's not about that. It's about who can get the job done. Go in there, clean house, go through all the records, see where this money's been going. Focus on education. Education is big. Work on bringing those term limits back to 2 because that's what the people voted for. Not 3. They voted for 2. If the people want more, then so be it through a public referendum. But these things are important because we cannot have another corrupt dynasty here in the city of Yonkers. Again, I'm Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics. Thank you, folks. I appreciate it. Have a beautiful and blessed night. I will be on tomorrow to discuss the Mike Spano interview with Yonkers Voice. Let's hear what he had to say about housing, jobs, and education. Oh, and smoking weed. That's right. The mayor was talking about smoking weed with Ruros, who said that he would like to smoke a blunt with him once the mayor retires. Puff, puff, pass.
Anyway, how you doing, Freddy? I watch your show. I think it's very interesting. My brother and I, he lives in Yonkers. I live up in the Greenberg area, and he got me hooked on watching your podcast, man. Doing a good job.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Thank you to the people who give me calls, messages, and say how much they like the show, emails. They appreciate the show. They appreciate what I'm doing. Thank you. I appreciate you for emailing me and telling me that, because it does mean a lot. Again, I don't make a penny doing this. I'm not looking to make a penny doing this. Just your support, showing me or telling me that I'm doing the right thing is all the reward I need. So thank you. I appreciate it. But I do one thing, please, one thing. If there's anything, please, one thing I do want from all of you: vote. Come out and vote. We must vote this year. Democrats, primaries this year. Vote for the best candidate. Vote for Freddy wins. I am Freddy Vazquez. I will see you mañana. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. I appreciate you, beautiful people. Good show. Thank you, Anthony DiMaggio. Anthony will be on with me on Friday. We're going to talk a little bit about the C.J. Hackett case and get a perspective from a police officer, 15-year veteran, police lieutenant, right? We'll get Anthony DiMaggio's perspective on that entire case. Tasha, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Folks, I'm up out of here. Freddy wins. Fatality. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That means a lot.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez.
Freddy wins.